Yeah.
Okay. And we are live. Welcome everybody to another episode of You Know What? Let me just say podcast. I am your host Ray. With me as always for 12 years. 12 years of Harlem Heat. Um, we got Fada.
I'm 12 years old, everybody.
Oh man, how you doing today, bro?
I'm chilling. I
Good.
smoked. I'm watching wrestling. You
You know,
know,
Mercedes Monet just got another belt.
non Bell Day.
Mm, I love it. I love it. I also how people try to downplay it too.
They're going to downplay it because people like that, you feeling what I'm saying? Their job is to defy expectation. There has never been a point in Mercedes Monet's career where people haven't fucking doubted her. You feeling what I'm saying?
Right.
So at this point, to her, her collecting the belts ain't even really about collecting the belts. Her collecting the belts is about bringing attention to the sport of wrestling in the form of women's wrestling. That's why she's carrying the belts. When you see that Rev Pro UK Women's Championship, you're going to look up Rev Pro UK Women's Wrestling. You know what I'm saying? And even if you're not going to do that, that's their champion. Fucking Mercedes Monet. You know? So you know me. That's my girl. I've been there from day one. I was there from the very beginning. Little bright eyed little Sasha Banks, I was there. So you can only imagine. You know, I have a pattern with this because I also claim Megan Thee Stallion. I was there from the beginning.
Yes, he was.
You know what I'm saying? Like I know, bruh. Come on now, don't play with me. These are my babies. I take care of my investments. And Mercedes Monet is developing nicely. Now my focus is Queen Aminata. We gonna get her there.
We gonna get her
I
there.
love that. Ooh, I love her.
She pretty too.
Ray, I love her.
That
I
girl
love
pretty.
her. And she with the shits too. She's not just one of those little, she's not just doing it to do it. She'll, nigga, she fucking did a neck breaker to this one fucking wrestler. I forgot who it was, but bruh, almost gave me fucking whiplash. I was like, oh my god, damn near tried to kill her. It was Tekla. That's who it was, Tekla.
Damn.
But yeah, that's just me on my AEW shit. I'm on my AEW shit right now. You know what I'm saying?
AEW's been putting on, so
They've been cooking, bro.
they
They've
have been
been
cooking.
cooking all year, honestly.
They were cooking over here. Oh man, but yeah, on with the show, and I want to start with them because we wanted to do an after party on this, but I've been seeing that Jubilee been striking down people with copyright strikes, so I kind of like just want to at least review. Did you watch the Amanda Seals Jubilee thing?
I fucking did not. Because I really wanted to do an after party on it.
I
I really wanted to do an after party on it. But
uh,
now that you said that, no, I didn't watch it. But
yeah.
I've seen clips. I've seen the clips.
Okay, so so do you know enough that we can still talk about it?
I wouldn't say so. We can shelve that.
We can show it. Okay. All
Yeah,
right.
we can shelve that. We can put that on the, you know what I'm saying, to do list.
All right.
Because
I'm gonna
I
keep
want to
that.
watch it and then we can talk. Maybe that could be the after party. Like we'll just talk about that. We'll just dedicate a whole after party to it anyway.
That's cool because I think we have a lot to talk about that.
Yeah,
So
that one is you bruh. There will be so much to unpack because the clips that I watch, you know what I'm saying. It's not the whole thing; they're just clips. So I want to watch. Yeah, but we can show that. Sorry, y'all. No,
okay.
I'm not sorry. Fuck.
I watched it twice, so just so you know, I did watch it twice, maybe a third time, but I will watch it again because, like I said, it's a lot to unpack. I feel like you have to watch it more than once just to at least get to just the thing. So, um, But we could go into another thing. Since we are in the DMV area, and I wanted to talk about this last week, but also wanted to wait just to see how things kind of turned out. Trump trying to put the National Guard in D.C. and it's a lot of over policing and checking points and having the National Guard. What are your thoughts about Trump doing that?
It's an overreach. It's literally an overreach. DC is not a state. You feeling what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So he can literally just impose his will on that caveat. And that's exactly what he's doing. He's overreaching and niggas is just watching. Bro, first and foremost, DC, niggas don't care about the cops in DC. Am I wrong, Ray?
They don't. I
They
just watched a
don't. Like, nigga,
video.
go to Southeast, go to Anacostia,
I just watched a video
you
of
know?
a cop arguing with one of the civilians, and they was talking about how that nigga used to get beat up in high school, and they picked on him the whole time. The cop, they picked on the cop the whole time. And it's just like,
Like, literally, bro. Bro, I seen people fucking hop the metro. I seen people. These niggas don't give a fuck about no damn DC National Guard. And the reason why is the history of that place. You know what I'm saying? They've always been over policed,
mm-hmm.
so it don't phase them. They literally in the bro. Black people built the White House. This is documentary. That house is because of black labor. You feel what I'm saying? There's a lot of layers to about this. All in all, it's just really overreach. Someone saying, I got a big, and it's not that shit on the motherfucker. I'm going to fix crime, everybody. National Guard. And not only that, he's trying to do it in New York City and Chicago. You know, the right wing likes to use that talking point that these are Democrat cities. These are democratically run cities, and you know that's where all the crime is happening in these democratic run cities. Because what do they use? They use Chicago as like the whistle for black people.
Yeah.
Oh, just look at
What about what's
Chicago.
going on in Chicago? What about what's going on in Chicago? And none of them live in Chicago.
Like, and I'm like, wait, hold on. And then you look at the stats, it's like, wait a minute, this crime was dropping in Chicago too for a little bit.
Yeah, it was.
You know, it was fluctuating, but it's actually going down from what it was before. Same as DC. It also came out that DC had a lowering crime rate, and what did they do? They fired the person that was supposed to get the statistics for that. I saw it somewhere. They fired Trump fired somebody. You know what I'm saying in regards to statistics being like not telling the full story or whatever. I still got to do a little bit more research on that. Don't quote me, but
How the
I
fuck you
do
get
know
fired
somebody
for
was
doing your
fired.
job? That's funny. It's one thing you get fired
You
for
know,
not doing your job. How the fuck you get fired for doing your job?
hey, it happens, man. You seen these layoffs lately? You want to know what a layoff is? You getting fired for doing your job.
That is true. That is
You
definitely
know what I'm
true.
saying? And you know they can talk about how we want to restructure and we're shutting down this and we need to save money on this, but that then goes to show you that the shit ain't stable.
Right.
You feeling what I'm saying? So if the shit ain't stable, then what the fuck is the point of working? So now this becomes a distraction of asking that question because now DC civilians, instead of worrying of all the shit that we got to worry about, gentrification, we got to motherfucking worry about, you know what I'm saying, AI and how it's affecting the federal contracting agency and people losing their fucking jobs left and right. Thank you, Elon Musk. You know what I'm saying? He done dipped and now he's sitting over there quiet. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't know what that man plotting. That man's in Mars right now. But
Didn't I
I
tell y'all that nigga is going to destroy the world?
stop.
I said people was mad at me.
Funny.
Oh, how do you? I said I had this gut feeling. I said that nigga ain't that smart. He's going to fuck up the world. It's just I've been saying this shit. I feel vindicated, honestly.
That's crazy. But you
Fuck
want to know
America, you
what though?
lose.
Yeah, but at the end of the day, Ray, it's not like they weren't warned. That's the number one thing I want people to understand. That's what I want you to understand. Y'all were warned multiple times. Y'all were warned since 2015. We were warning you 10 years ago.
Right.
I'm not just saying this. Document BLM first pop up. No one did that BLM was saying. You know what I'm saying? We need police reform because policing is inherently racist, and we're seeing a pattern. You feel what I'm saying? So I, I'm at a point right now where it's just like the National Guard in them. They're the least of my worries, bro. Like the least of my worries. You're only sitting there because Daddy said sit there,
Yeah. I agree with you, but I will say this
bro.
because I've been saying this for like years. I said this years ago as a joke, but it might come into a fruition. So I may or may not be wrong. You could just take this how you want. I remember like 10 years ago, I said because they was always talk about the crime in Chicago, the crime in Chicago. I said jokingly, I said Trump is not going to build a wall in Mexico. He's going to build a wall around Chicago, and niggas just going to have to fight for their lives. And I was like, this is sort of what he was trying to do, in my opinion. Now the only thing is just like, are they based off of quotas or they're just being there to be there? Because they're based off of quotas, that means they're just going to start fucking with people. And if you know black people, we don't like being messed with, especially when we're not doing anything. And then I know they have been having checkpoints out there just fucking with people, and people have got rid of them. But no one likes to be fucked with when they're not doing anything wrong, and that's like one of the biggest problems with the police is that sometimes you just look suspicious. Also, I heard they're trying to arrest people that looks Hispanic, just so they can deport them. So that's another thing. It's just like like I feel like the over policing thing is doing more harm than good on that point. But I do agree with what you said that they at the same time they can be the least of your worries. But with that being said, I do feel like if we're based off of quotas, I feel like they're going to do something to. I feel like they're going to try to piss off black people, and then you know how black people we get when we get pissed off, like the cops going to say we're all unruly and try to overreact to some shit like that. So I'm not saying I hope it doesn't happen. This is just me. I hope it doesn't happen because I don't want that to happen. But it could happen like that. I don't know. What you think?
I'm sorry. Could you repeat the last thing that you said? Because you cut it because it cut out a little bit. I don't know if it was Discord or just repeat that last point for me.
I said I don't know if it's based on basically if it's based on quotas. I don't know if the cops is going to start harassing people on purpose just to get their numbers up, just to make it look like the crime is bad, or it's just it could be a nothing burger, just like you said. I don't know. That's what I said.
Oh no, quotas. The thing is about that, right? Quotas have always been a thing. Like that's already been established. It's been established for decades now. And not only is it different in every state and city and shit like that. The real big issue is who's the real accountable force in that kind of environment, right? You know what I'm saying? If you have a quota to report crimes and you live in a relatively safe area, you're going to have a low quota, and then you're going to treat that as that we're not doing our job effectively. You know, because it's based on numbers. So it's already not a metric that is people focused. It's focused on numbers. It's just say your name out here instead of in the prison. You know, so you are a number, and the policing reflects that in the way that they treat you. You know what I'm like the 90s. You can remember in the 80s and 90s, it was cop propaganda, right? Cops are these heroes, you know what I'm saying? Beverly Hills Cop, motherfucking, but Die Hard, Bruce Willis was a cop.
Right.
Well, what else? What else is there? Fucking, family mass, uh, I was like more off the top of my head. You got one right?
I don't know. You named a lot of them, so I just you named a lot. It's a damn shame.
Yeah, man. That is funny. Yeah, it's pretty funny, but you want to know what? With all of that being said, true nature will always reveal itself. You know, and the fact that it's a quota put it in order to report crimes, you know, who's accountable? Who?
Hmm.
You uh, is here unanswerable because if a stops you really and you if you walk in the groceries and the cop fucking stops you because it's suspicious, who is the one accountable? You or a cop? How do you even answer that? Because the quarter shit isn't. So by means, if that motherfucker gets nervous and kills you, they can just say, "Oh well, he was doing his job.
Mm-hmm.
He was just doing his job."
Right. Just like the
Maybe
jokes
you
say.
did look suspicious. They made it easy to shift the blame. That's why the quota should exist. They made it easy to motherfucking shift the blame. So now instead of it being at fault, no nigga, you're at fault. Because why was you looking suspicious in the first place? But I was carrying groceries.
All right. Any last words before we move on to our next topic?
Days go by in the bigger of the family.
Okay. All right.
You should just play that theme. That's how you play that theme song.
All right. On to our next topic, and we're going to start with the one you sent me yesterday, and I'm going to play this, and then I would like your thoughts, basically. So let's get it.
I remember saying to my wife, I love women. I love women. She looked at me like, what do you mean? I said, babe, I'm attracted to women. Now, of course, you are my woman. But I would be very naive to tell myself, oh, because I'm married, cheating is below. No, it's not. This is why you're seeing big men of God falling, because they've almost became naive. I remember I heard someone say there are certain men of God who reach a certain level that they can no longer cheat. I said, what do you mean by that? What do you, it's that kind of naivety that has people lost. And I said that's obviously the initial statement I said to my wife was shocking, but then I explained it. She was like, oh no, I understand. So we have some blunt, honest, transparent conversations you wouldn't believe. My wife knows everything. I don't care. I don't care. Because if I was to lose her, I wouldn't care. You know, my life things wouldn't matter. I need her to know everything. There's no barrier. There's no secrets. Here, take it. Have everything. But yeah, I'm here, man. I'm here.
Yeah, that was amazing.
I remember telling her at Waterloo Station, I said, baby, your breath stinks. and that was one of the most amazing things that ever happened in our relationship that became a marriage. Because she was offended, she was very offended, and I said, "Listen, as your husband to be, if I can't tell you your breath stinks, then who can?
Facts.
Who can?"
Yeah.
And for those who know the marriage that myself and my wife have, there is no barrier. There is no barrier. I remember one time telling my wife, this is another thing, and then I'll leave it here.
Okay, Father, you since you wanted this as a topic, you first. What are your thoughts on this?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
You want to do me a favor?
Yeah.
I want you to go first. And there's a reason why I'm letting you go first. I'm doing this strategically. So if you will indulge me, I want you to go first instead. And then I'll reply.
Okay. So I'm gonna tell you. I'm gonna tell the world the same thing I told Father. Like I said yesterday, so it won't seem like no switch up. I didn't have a problem with what he was saying because I get what he was saying, which is what he was talking about all men cheat. It was just like no man is above like human. I think he was going on the lines of no man is above human temptations. It's like all men has fallen to women. I think that was the point he was saying of what he was speaking of. Now, I do notice this, and I have definitely been a victim of this. Sometimes as men, we say stuff that like although it sounds good to us, it doesn't sound good to the woman ears. So, um, like as blunt as he is, it's just like sometimes it's just best not to say what he says because like it sounds very as much as you like care for your woman. Sometimes we don't understand how much it embarrasses the wife to make it look like, oh damn, he don't really do he really love me like that or some shit like that. Um, Quick story because I'm not gonna lie to you, like I love my mama, but I gave her hell sometimes. There was one time she caught the mumps and her face was swollen, right? And everybody was like, trying to cheer her up. And oh, you're fine, you look fine, you look good, and all that other stuff. And my dumb ass, I was a teenager then. My dumb ass walks up and all this stuff. I was like, I'm trying to make her laugh. I said, yeah, mom, I know you look like Carl Winslow in the face, but you still cool, you still good. You just said my mom cried and went straight to the room. My father slapped me in the back of the head and said, "Boy, what the hell is wrong with you?" And I looked at her. I was like, "What did I do?" I didn't think she was going to do that. And then, like, it to me is I learned along that sometimes, like again, your effort is there. What you try as men, what we try to do is really good, but sometimes no, just don't, just don't. um, is that good, Father? Is that good enough, Father? You want to
Thank you, Ray. And I hope you understand why I had you go first because you literally have proven my point, and I'm going to explain why. In Yu-Gi-Oh, they would say that you activated my trap card, but here we go. Listen.
go?
So, regarding with what the brother said, right? Regarding with what the brother said, the honesty and the bluntness and what he said isn't the issue. Have no issue with that whatsoever. The issue is what exactly you are telling people in regards to how you want them to perceive the relationship. Because y'all are a public figure, right? So what you say means a lot. You know what I'm saying? So in his honesty, he did everything that he wanted to do, that he wanted to say, that he wanted to get across, right? But I just feel like the reason why he's getting backlash from women is that they feel like he hasn't considered the woman's perspective in his, you know what I'm saying, conversation about his marriage. Because women don't want to be embarrassed. You feel what I'm saying? and this nigga just did a three-peat. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? Your breath stink. You know what I'm saying? If I left you, I wouldn't care. And there was another thing that he said. Um, it was like in the very beginning. It would have come to me, but I
The I'm
see
attracted
all
to
of
women thing. The I'm attracted to women thing.
yeah, yeah, that one. Thank you. And while that may be his truth, and the truth is good, and it shall set you free, and brutal honesty and shit like that, fine. I don't think that in itself is the issue. I just think that when it comes to the public, that brutal honesty shit should be put to the backside, and you should maintain an image where your wife looks respectable, where your wife looks, like she married a man that is cognizant of how his relationship is perceived. Because now that you're brutally honest about the relationship, now other people are going to be brutally honest about your relationship. And I don't think you can handle the scale of that. This might actually be an issue down the line in the marriage because of that reaction that you're getting. And how brutally honest are you going to be able to be? Do you even want to test the limits of that kind of aspect of your relationship? So I don't really have an issue with what he said. I just have my issue and my beef comes with how she's going to look with him saying this about the relationship. You know what I'm saying? Because it is a relationship, and not only is it a relationship, they're married, they're committed to each other. So that brutally honest stuff might work for the relationship and the dynamic that they have. I'm not trying to cast judgment on that relationship at all, whatsoever, motherfucking ever, because it ain't mine. You know what I'm saying? But in seeing the reaction of the women that were mad at the dude for saying that, I understood why. Because I personally wouldn't do that. You know what I'm saying? And that brings up to why I had you go first, Ray, because you said that you learned your lesson, that sometimes you may say things with a certain intention and it may sound good to you, and then it has the opposite effect to the person because you put that kind of expectation. You imposed your expectation on somebody, basically.
Yeah.
And that's what honesty does. You are imposing your expectation and your perspective on somebody. That's what being brutally honest is. But while it's not a bad thing, right? It was misused in this particular way. And Ray, you gambled. That was a motherfucking gamble.
It
You were a
was a gamble.
teenager, but it was one hell of a gamble.
It was a it was a gamble. It was definitely a gamble.
That was a point,
Yeah.
So, shout out to you, but damn.
There's been a bunch of stories you've heard them that I've talked about my mom that
Yeah.
other people that have heard that said I'm surprised my mom didn't like run me through the washer and dry. I said, I said she kind of respected it, but at the same time it still hurt. So there are times where like it's not intentional. It's really unintentional. I think she knows it's unintentional. I think she knows what I mean. But at the same time, that's it. But at the same time, it still hurts. It's just like she still has feelings. Like I don't know why I was like I said the Carl Winslow thing. It's just like I said I wanted her to laugh, but what's funny about her looking like a man? That's what I was just like. Then you realize it's just a oh oh damn. that's and that's what it goes to the end. So it's just one of those things where it's just like you gotta be cognizant, and sometimes, yeah, just stop. When you sometimes it's like you want to say something extra, stop. Like perfect example, and like I've heard stories of this. I've never done it, but I've heard stories of people doing this. Shout out to like our friend Alana. She told me that one of the dudes who was actually black and darker than himself went up to her and said, "You are pretty for a black girl." Now think about this. It's just like, why would you say that? Like what? Is like what? Why would you say that to her? It's just like she's supposed to feel extra special or something like that. It's just no. That's insulting. You don't feel, especially when you feel like Well, she thinks you don't find black girls attractive. Sometimes you just stop it. You know, you're very pretty. You see how to just right there. Just stop. Don't go no further. So you don't put your foot in your mouth. What, and that's sometimes as men we do it a lot, and it's just like you said, it's cool. You know that's your brutal, honest, and truth or something. But sometimes people don't need to hear that, especially if you want to big up your wife. You got some things you just I'd rather not say that. Like when people say, "Yeah, my wife not be the prettiest, but I still love her," it's just like, wait, what? It's just like things like that is like, oh, so you don't think, and then especially because if you understand how women brains is sometimes, and it's just like, oh, so you don't think I'm pretty, or you don't think or it's just like, whew, you're going to open a bunch of windows that you don't really mean to open. So it's just like, man, when you feel like what you about to say is go too far, just cut it short. So if you're going to tell people you're pretty for a black woman, just go. You know you're very pretty. Just keep it short right there. Anything else, Father?
Damn. Um, bruh, brutally honest is cool. Just keep it over there. Don't bring that shit outside. You know, he kind of messed up doing that, in my humble opinion. Now, I really don't like speaking on people's situations. Because I'm not a type of person. I'm really not a judgmental person. You know
Mm-hmm.
what I'm saying? Like I have my disagreements, I have my perspectives, but I'm not the type of person to look at your shit and be like, you did this bad, unless it's like something heinous. You feel me? But I'm not about to shit on you because you went to go get a degree in motherfucking gender studies. You know? Like, nigga, you wanted to study gender studies. I'm pretty sure it was pretty interesting at the time. Like, people make fucking decisions based on the knowledge that they got. Who the fuck am I to shit on them for that? I don't know everything. So who the fuck am I to even try to, you know what I'm saying? Like, I really don't like speaking on people's situations. But in saying that, though, I can see the humor. I can see, the coincidences. I can see sometimes this fucking stupidity to the point where I want to say something, but to like be like, this is why your marriage failed and you're a single mother and you're bald. Like, I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that. So maybe, maybe there is a situation in which I have to talk about it because it is important in regards to the lesson that he can teach. But like, the only reason why I even wanted to talk about this was because of the reaction that it got. You know,
This is still up. Yeah. Nah, sorry, I'll come back to scream again. Why he smiling bad seems like he just dropped the wisest shit. Even if was just shot. Nah, I can't. Okay. All I got from him and his wife is stupid fuss because what in the absolute. um, what's else? Really and truly, he didn't say wrong. He's saying that he is not saying he wants to cheat. He recognizes it's not above, but chooses to stay faithful because he's committed to this. That's what I said. I said, if I was the loser, I wouldn't care. And then New York Small falling out. um, why always the men of God? Women don't love him, but I
you
digress. Did
want to
anyone
know
ask
who else
this?
was a man of God? Derek Jackson.
Yeah, there. Oh yeah, he was definitely a man of God. Did anyone ask this man for information? Wait, run through that again. I need to cleanse my ears after hearing this. This can't be right. Yeah. I remember saying this to my wife. Can you please forget it? So yeah, father has a point. Yep. So any last words before we move on to our next topic?
Just keep it inside, bro. Not everybody needs to be in your business. Like, you know what I'm saying? Because now you got people looking at your wife crazy as hell, and I'm pretty sure you did not want that.
True. Yeah. That's why people was mad at Jada because have we always seen Will Smith big up Jada? Like I always say, Will Smith treats Jada like God's greatest creation, and then when you see the other half, you're like, ugh. Yeah, I don't think she love you, bro. I think she love Tupac more than you, bro. All the other stuff. And, that's what gets all these people started and all the other stuff. And it's just you talk too much. Ho, you don't ever shut up. Just shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up. Just shut the fuck up sometimes. Okay. On to our next topic. This one. I saw this yesterday or the day. I saw this either yesterday or the day before, and I thought it was good for something to talk about today. So I'm gonna play this, and then Father, I would like your opinion on this as well.
The concept of femininity does not include no POC.
The same way the concept of masculinity does not include POC. As an Afrocentric researcher, clinician, and therapist, I live for the day where y'all stop having these masculinity and femininity conversations as if though black men and black women were not utilized as inverses to these concepts. I keep trying to explain to y'all, as other Afrocentric scholars have explained in the past, that pre-colonial African ideologies of masculinity and femininity were reciprocal. They were integral to one another, which is the reason why historically black relationships have been egalitarian. They've also been strength-based. That means that based upon what each person is good at, they contribute to the entire functioning of the relationship. The idea that black women are less feminine is a centuries-old racist trope to make women of other races seem more feminine. Similarly, the trope that black men are uncontrollably masculine is also a centuries-old racist trope in order to make the men of other races seem more refined and more civilized. What does this have to do with relationships? And what does this have to do with people consistently coming at black women's femininity? Like my man said in the previous video, all of these nut-ass conversations are extensions of white supremacy. It is to reinforce and reiterate the idea that femininity that is subjugated and controlled by masculinity is the superior femininity. Because the largest complaints that y'all have about black women's femininity, they don't treat us right. They don't cook and clean. But once again, that comes back to the question. Are we giving these women what they're asking for? Or are we performing this masculinity that then we expect them to respond to? So in other words, outside of material, are you providing to them spiritually? Are you giving to them emotionally? Traditional masculinity does not require us to do that because traditional masculinity was based on the subjugation of other races, cultures, and women. So once again, what does this have to do with black femininity? Bro, have y'all ever thought that black women are just tired of taking care of everybody else but themselves, historically and currently, and that they're only willing to give what it is that they will get in return? Like, come on, bro, there's a reason why when white women don't want to be doormats no more, they seek black women out. It's not that black women are less feminine. We are expecting a type of femininity from black women that is not culturally aligned to the femininity that they came from. Period.
Okay, Father. It was a little bit long-winded, but I think I kind of get what you were saying. So I wanted your thoughts on this. What did you think? What he was saying?
Yeah, he wasn't long-winded at all. I don't think he was long-winded at all. That was information that was relevant to the topic. So, all right. So, first off, I love being right. I love being right. I love being right. Like, I've been saying this, and you've heard me. You've heard me talk about this.
Mm-hmm.
So, I will say that one of the biggest issues that I have today with like the gender conversation, especially when it comes to black folks, is that we are currently not in the position to be arguing about anything. That's what makes it so fucking frustrating. You know what I'm saying? not in a position to be talking about this woman needs to be cooking and cleaning. You need to already know how to cook it. That shit should have been done in the fucking first place.
I
You know
know
what I'm
what you.
saying? It don't matter who's doing the cooking and cleaning, is the shit cooked and cleaned. You
Facts.
know?
Facts.
That's what we need to be on. So when I'm looking like right now, like if I were to get in a relationship, it would be a relationship built on three things: trust, communication, and respect. As long as I have those three pillars, my relationship will be fine. And it's like, oh man, you just make it sound so simple. It's like, cause sometimes it fucking is.
Yeah.
I'm so tired of this. I'm so tired of this narrative that relationships are like complicated. It's like it's only complicated because you're fickle. In my Daniel Bryan voice, fickle. You feeling what I'm saying? A lot of people. I'm gonna say something controversial, but I'm gonna say it. A lot of black people do not have the discipline to look at themselves in the mirror and develop the relationship that they need to have with themselves in order to have it modeled in the relationship that they're currently in or they want to be in.
Ooh. We talking. We talking. Go ahead.
I'm just saying because I did that and it was scary as fucking hell. You know how scary it is to really look at yourself in the motherfucking mirror and see everything?
Mm-hmm.
Your fuck ups, your successes, everything. You need to be able to do that. You need to be able to do that. Listen to me. You need to be able to fucking do that because that is the foundation of everything that you will go through in life. Your physical, your mental, your emotional, and your spiritual health need to be in alignment, not because it's cute. Not so that you can be like, hey everybody, I have my third eye. No, that's not what it is. There are fucking systems and powers and shit in this world that you do not understand. So when they come to you, the first thing that you gotta do is spend 20 years to study it. Instead of looking at exactly what the fuck it is that stands before you. You know what I'm saying? Like the people back then, our ancestors back then, they didn't need fucking 20, 30, 40, 50 years to understand that they were slaves. Every single bondage attempt that they were had was met with resistance. You can see it in Jamaica, you can see it in Trinidad, you can see it in the United States, the Nat Turner Rebellion. Like the Seminoles down in Florida. Come on, bro. There's a long history of us revolting against systems and shit that hold us down. And now in 2025, you got niggas popping balloons because somebody's motherfucking shirt is too tight. I just don't like your style.
Tell them.
You know,
Tell
like
them.
we fall for the superficial shit because that's what the slave master has taught us. And then we want to get mad at the undergender that they are projecting the very same shit that we're projecting on them. That's why I don't listen to men and women versus men. Fuck the both of y'all.
Father.
I'm saying that with my full fucking chest. Fuck the both of y'all.
Father. 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 I just on my other page I had this talk. I said, you know, we're complaining about the same shit about the other gender, and I feel like people either don't know or don't care. But we are complaining about the other shit. We think one side is too masculine. We think the other side is too feminine. We think one side is a bunch of broke people. We think the other side is a bunch of gold diggers. I'm like, yo, did you ever notice that we just complaining about the same shit about other people or some shit like that? So when you said that, I'm like, ooh, we cooking.
And you want to know what it is, right? Because I know you've seen the TikToks. You feeling what I'm saying? Of the ones that went that, swirl.
Mm-hmm.
And it seemed like the reason why they're swirling is because they couldn't get what they want from their same race.
Right.
And that pisses me the fuck off because first and foremost, black people are everywhere. You know what I'm saying? Black people are everywhere. Nigga, when I say that I want to marry a black woman, I'm not, nigga, that could be an American woman. That could be a Nigerian woman. That could be a fucking Haitian woman. Bruh, you know how many flavors of black there are?
They just found out
We a racist race.
They just found out there's black people in Scotland, and then black people with Scottish accents, and then that just flip people out in America.
Ray, my brother Ray,
Yeah,
my good brother Ray, my friend of 12 years. Let me ask you a question.
yes, go.
When in black fucking history have we ever had a discussion about black Scottish people?
Not that I know of.
So what, nigga? We got people in DC. We got black people in DC literally witnessing an overreach of the executive power, and niggas is crashing out because somebody sounds like Drew McIntyre. Like, nigga, this is why I'm saying fuck the both of them, because it's always this unseriousness when it comes to real issues, only for a bitch ass nigga to babble in my ear, well, these women just ain't doing right, they ain't cooking and cleaning, so I'm taking my ass to Thailand so I can get me a wife. And then you couldn't find out his kidney's missing a week later. You know what I'm saying? And then on the flip side, you got the city girls being like, take that money, take that child support, take this, take that. You better go for the baller. Racks on racks on racks. You know, and I'm sitting there, and then I'm like, oh, so I see what it is. Y'all one of those. I'd rather cry in a Benz than cry in a Honda. Oh my God, Lord Jesus, you're still crying.
You're still crying.
You're still fucking crying.
Every time I hear that,
And then
I'm sorry.
yeah.
Go ahead, go ahead.
No, that's what I'm gonna say. Like, and then I listen to shit like that, and then I'm just like, I am so glad I'm not dating none of you fucking birds. You know what I'm saying? Like, you want to know what? I'm gonna go to college and study birds so that I can enter the dating pool. Fucking hell.
Um, I don't know how long ago, but I had this whole think piece about black femininity, and let's specifically black American femininity, because I have said I think black American femininity is different from other races of femininity just because how we're raised and the history of us being the slaves, and then black women been working all their lives, and like I and then I remember asking like at least 5 to 10 black women, do you feel like your femininity is different from other races? And at least 7 out of 10 of them said yes. So it's just, and to me, I also agree with them. And this is basically what I say. And I think the same way with our black masculinity. It's just like, I think most of us, we're just, as far as black Americans, we're just trying to figure out how to get it. Where most people have traditions, we don't have traditions. Where most people know where they come from, a lot of us don't know where we come from unless we get a 23andMe. You can take a guess. You may know where your peoples come from. But a lot of people just sit there, they wouldn't know where they're from. This is why we had the after party on people. We used to talk about black Americans and black Africans. But then the examples you showing, a lot of them had African features. It was like, what the fuck are you talking about? So but as far as like I've been saying it, but I've been saying this, I feel like as far as black women, you gotta get as far as the femininity thing and the masculine thing. It's just on a scale. It's like, what do you do when you raised on survival most of your time? What do you do when you live in New York and everybody is aggressive and everybody's like, I don't like that aggressive tone New York women have. I was like, well, have you lived in New York? It's like they kind of gotta be. It's like shout out to Crystal. Crystal is about as feminine as she can, but even she has her New York aggression sometimes, which I kind of point out to her. I laugh at it. I think it's cute, but I tell her this. But like you can tell when she get mad, that New York aggression comes out, and I understand where most people come from. If you raise off of survival instead of just raise to live, let's live to live, you're gonna do things based off the survival, and then you're going to do things, and this goes for both men and both black men and black women. I understand this might be a whole um, bigger spectrum, but as you know, what they always say, when they get the cold, we get the flu. So I think it does affect us more. So like, there's some things I feel like in Black America, it's like we're still trying to figure out a culture and then just stick with it. The most we have is hip hop, and I understand like, and you when you finally watch the Man of Seals thing, there's the one thing that you gonna notice is gonna tick me off, which always pisses me off, is when they talk about black culture and hip hop and all the other stuff regarding the black culture, and it's just like how most of the conservatives look at black culture as a bad thing or as a trash culture or as bad culture. It was like that is not. It's just like that. Oh, to me that always pisses me off because it's just like you're not really knowing what black culture is. But again, like I said, I think as far as especially the black family, is there is things where I said like as men, sometimes we just take L's and we charge it to the game, and but if you look at a black woman when they feel cheated, you hear them, and this is why like white women come to black women. This is why white women came to black women because of femininity because they know that you're going to hear them if you try to fuck them over, they're going to let you know you tried to fuck us over, which is why like white women came to the black women as to join the feminist movement in my opinion, to have all that stuff happen because it's just like because black women are going to speak their voices while the white women kind of like hides their hand or some shit like that. So but I also like I just want people to know, and it's just like, and this is the one thing I don't want to say I disagree with, but I just feel like black women, they do a lot for us. I know there's a lot of black women that does a lot for that's done a lot for me personally, and I'm forever grateful for them. Shout out to the ones that have. But at the same time, and maybe it's just me, but I know other brothers that have done this. Like we kill for our black women, especially like the ones we know. And I used to try to tell these people all the time because I know there's a lot of people that they may not find that tribe that is, or they find that people that will literally die for them, or like will make sure you're really fucking good, as long as and not even with no caveats and nothing like that. I just want to make sure you're good as a person. It's like, and I tell people once you find that tribe, that's your family. That's really your family right there, and that's where you build your village from. Like people that are like minded like you, and wants to see you win just as much as they want to see you win. So, anything else, Father?
I want to make another point. Um, and I mean, this one is pretty layered, but I'm gonna try to condense it as much as I can. I come from an African background, West African. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to the Akan, shout out to the LA. You know what I'm saying? I'm a product of two ethnic groups. And it's interesting because my father's side, they're a war tribe. You feeling what I'm saying? And my mother's side, they were like migrators. They were here, they're there, they're here, they're there. You know what I'm saying? And they're both really robust, distinct cultures. But you want to know what is so interesting? So on my father's side, they're matrilineal. Property and you know what I'm saying, who you claim as like the parent or who they look at your in terms of your lineage is through your mother. You feel what I'm saying? This is why they have queen mothers in Ghana, right? Because royalty is passed down from the mother's side. So as a result, they have cultures and traditions, you know what I'm saying, so on and so forth. On my mom's side, they're patrilineal. You feel what I'm saying? Meaning it's from the father's side. So masculinity and femininity to me isn't about who does what or who does more or anything like that. It is simply acknowledging the essence of somebody and their character and how it shapes that individual and that individual within the community and then that community within the environment and then how that environment also gives back to the community and it gives back to the individual so that it can be a harmonious balance. You feel what I'm saying? So, for example, there are people that will, you know what I'm saying? There are people that will go to the sea and fish, and most of them are men, just simply due to the fact that men are, you know what I'm saying, a little bit more adorable. You know what I'm saying, so on and so forth. We're just built different. If you go to the market, If you go to like a market, sometimes you mostly find just women there. Like I know in Ghana, it's usually the women that do the selling. And if women are doing the selling, then that means women are in control of the economy. And that means that if the women are in control of the economy, then how you eat, the clothes you wear, all of that shit is dependent on this market woman. So not only is she just a woman in the market, she's a businesswoman. She's a fucking herbalist because she got to know what type of herbs she's gonna sell. She's a farmer. She's all these different things in one. You feeling what I'm saying? So that femininity isn't just what defines her. All of the shit that she's doing just by standing in the motherfucking market selling squash, or not even squash. Squash is not even indigenous. Selling cassava. I just said squash on my ass, but selling like cassava or whatever. Like that woman is not only conducting business, she's feeding an entire village. The same thing for the men when they're bringing home that fish from the sea. You know what I'm saying? He's not just hunting and providing, he's also creating a legacy for anybody who wants to learn from him in order to continue that tradition to feed their people. You see how that works? You're starting to see how that works.
Right.
It's layered, but when you break it down and when you follow that framework and you study this, not even in Ghana, this is in Mali, this is in, you know what I'm saying? This is African people. You know what I'm saying? It may be different. It may be, you know what I'm saying, nuanced. It may have this culture. It may have that culture. It may be Muslim. It may be Christian. But the one thing that I can say for sure is that usually when you see African cultures, there's not so much of a emphasis on who does what as long as it's done. The only reason why there's like real gender issues is because of a combination of like tribal shit from like back in the day and then colonial shit. And a lot of people don't know how to separate the two, so they think it's all one big thing. You know what I'm saying? So, in regards to that, there's still gender issues. Don't fucking get me wrong, but it's not really looked at in a feminist lens. That's why feminism is pretty much is rather rejected in Africa. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you meet like an African who's a feminist or whatever, they probably was born in the States or they was born in the UK and then they went back home, or you know what I'm saying, they went to school and studied feminist thought, or some aspect of feminist rhetoric aligned with the issues that they have within the countries, within the ethnic groups. Again, it's fucking layered as hell, but you know what I'm saying? It's nuanced. So you can't speak in absolutes. And I think that's why it's so hard to have these conversations, because people generalize too much, especially fucking black people. Black people have a bad experience and then they generalize like a motherfucker. You go to two fucking black restaurants and both of them are mediocre. Fuck these black businesses. Just because you had two bad ones, We gotta stop that stupid shit. We gotta stop that generalizing shit and be specific and be surgical about the shit that you want to solve. Because ain't nothing good from saying bitches ain't shit, and ain't nothing good come from saying niggas ain't shit.
Woo. I think we gonna end it there. Any last words before we move on to our final thoughts?
Both of y'all suck.
Oh man. Yeah. I guess we finally get to our final thoughts now. You have any final thoughts, Father?
Do I have any final thoughts? I might leave tech. I might need tech, bro. I think this shit is cooked.
Is it because of the AI?
No, it's not because of the AI. I think AI is a huge symptom, but it's not the cause of the problem. The cause of the problem is greed and profit, and it's no longer, because technology. If you remember a time, Ray, in the 90s, we were very optimistic about technology. You feel what I'm saying? If you remember back in the day, like the E3s and like E3 wasn't even just about games for real. It was really about technology
Yep.
and how games from 1 year will look so much better than games in the next year. Seeing that fucking progression, you feel what I'm saying? And knowing that progression is only possible because of the people that make it possible. You know what I'm saying? So now in 2025, you have a situation where people who are entry level are getting gate kept out the fucking ass and trying to contribute to that motherfucking progression. Simply because they don't have the credentials and simply because these fucking companies want to make as much money as possible. And in order to do that, you have to spend money to do that. You know what I'm saying? This is why tech companies, especially name companies, because I know you're reading up on it, have been letting people off like out the ass. You know what I'm saying? So they lay these people off, and now they're in the job market, and now you have these super motherfucking qualified people in the market. You also have graduates graduating from school every single year. You have that are self-studying because information is pretty accessible. We got AI, we got YouTube, so anybody can learn motherfucking anything. So what's happening right now, right, is that there's a fucking bottleneck. You feel what I'm saying? We're bottlenecks. There's so many motherfucking qualified people, and when they have to use AI ATS in order to sort them, and that means a lot of people are going to get ghosted. That means a lot of people are going to get rejected, and it's going to be infinitely harder for somebody who's trying to fucking get into getting. Is that if he's not getting it, he's not paid. And if he's not getting paid, then he has to either side gig or he's going to be pushed that much closer doing motherfucking crime in order to have a chance. See how this is working? So I'm seeing this and I'm fucked up. It's fucking disgusting to me that it's and even the mere fact that when you get one thing, it's two other things that you need to get in order to progress. And, all the things that are but it all cost money. Everybody trying to make everybody's a motherfucking consultant. Consulting is dying as a result of everybody becoming a consultant. Plus, you mix AI into it. Consulting is probably going to die in the future because of it. And it's just this rapid change to the point where a lot of people can't adjust. And the people who the longer they're outside, the more cooked they are. You know what I'm saying? So that's too much stress, bro. And even though I have the skill set to do great things, what the fuck is the point they won't even let me in? You know? What I've more than paid my dues, but they still asking for more. And you want to know what? I'm at a point where it's just like, fuck you. You know? I can get the security clearance. I can get all of that, but you want to know what, Ray? I smoke too much weed, bro. I'd rather just smoke weed and play fucking video games. Does that make me a bad person that at 31 years old in my life, I just want to smoke weed, play video games, and motherfucking be a good son and, be a good fucking boyfriend to my girl? Shit like that, I'm not really worried about all this other, this like need to succeed and to have all of this status and to, get this and get that. You're like, bro, I'm cool. Am I bad for feeling this way?
No, it's what you want. What you want is what you want, and you should be judged, or I don't know what the word is, but you should be judged with what you want because that's what you want. I hope that makes sense.
No, because it's not like I wasted my time. You know what I'm saying? I have a skill set, but the country is cooked. The country is getting cooked. And even if I was able to secure something, I'm not going to feel good about the fact that there's so many other people that's not going to be in my position. I'm going to have survivor's guilt out the motherfucking ass. So for me, I feel like it's a lose lose situation.
That's,
You know,
you, I
and
don't
you
think
want to
you're
know what?
wrong.
Ray? I'm gonna say one more thing.
Go ahead.
Real quick, I'm gonna say one more thing. I'm in line to make the most money I have ever made in my motherfucking life, and honest to God, I don't know what I want to do with it. Because it's easy for people to say, "Oh, just invest it." Invest it in what? You know what I'm saying? Because that's a risk in itself. So I can't just take your word for it. I have to observe for myself and make the best decision for what I got right now. But with everything so motherfucking uncertain, it genuinely is hard, even if you do have money. So that's why I question people that chase money all the time, because it's like, okay, you got it, now what? You know? Yeah, maybe I'm a little bit too deep with these final thoughts, but yeah, that's what I got. Go ahead, Ray. What you got?
But that's why I love
Respond.
it. That's why I love it. I told you that's why I love. That's why I love the final thoughts because I, yeah, I know there's days when y'all don't have nothing, but when the days when y'all do have stuff, y'all have it. So I always love the final thoughts. So um, I'm gonna turn my camera on if think that's it. Okay. You're gonna laugh. Let me turn this background off because you was gonna laugh at what I had on. Anyway, excuse the blurry camera. This is from my actual laptop webcam. I don't have my other joint plugged in, but I wanted to say like I have a lot of friends that in like the creative business that do a lot of dope stuff, and even though I'm a small channel, I try to help out as many as I can to like if I'm not buying the merchandise, I'm trying to promote the merchandise on mine, make sure other people can see like what they have and um hopefully like they can get to the product and then like how word of mouth usually travels out. So like and if you anybody knows me, if you have stuff and you ask me to promote it or wear it or just do something with it, I don't mind purchasing it because I said I might be the help that you need for you to uh, get to other places. For like instance, this shirt, right? Shout out to a friend of ours, Alana. Like she designed this shirt and she has a website. I believe it. Hold on. Sorry about that. um, anyway, shout out to our friend Alana. She has a merchandise. It's like I believe it's called marsmerch.com. I'll make sure I leave the link in the website, the link of it in the website. But she designed a bunch of shirts that she sells. I'm wearing one of them right now. Right. She also does commissions, which is this painting right here that I asked her to make herself and like I dug what she did right here. Either I asked for her to do this or I just saw this and I thought it was good. So like um uh, as you can see, it's hangs in the middle of the wall. There was someone else that did commissions for me too that I haven't like yet put on the wall that I will put on the wall too. But the point of is that the point of it all is that I feel like sometimes we see our friends like they have dreams too. Like people have visions, especially in this generation. We don't want to work a 9 to 5 and die. Like we want to at least accomplish something and like just to at least say we tried. And that's what I appreciate about this generation all the time is that we're not afraid to go I don't want to say entrepreneurial, but at least chase what we've at least I've gone to school for. At least me doing film, um, father doing tech, Alana, she's doing her art, and sometimes I think all it takes is a little bit of help, and then especially if you like the product, you should try to promote it as much. Shout out to my boy Hezzy, he's doing a plus ultra thing, and they're doing real well where they're hosting parties and they got their own stuff downtown in like the harbor in the DMV area, which is I've been there. It's a nice little spot. Um, but your friends do dope. I think sometimes your friends do dope shit, and I never wanted to be the one that like will say, "Oh, you could never do this. You shouldn't do this." I always was always the one that say, "You can do it. I hope you put your all into it. If you need my help, I'll try to do the best I can. If not promote it, if like I said, if not promote it, or like at least show it to them on social media to where people can find you. Or hell, shout out to my man Chuck, which he has an investment group, and I did a whole podcast with him, and I cut it into snippets about. And he enjoyed it, and he was able to put his businesses out there, and he's a smart brother too, which I've always said, and I said it on that podcast. I feel like there'd be more brothers like him. We need more brothers like him. That's a smart brother. Like shout out to all the people that's helped me out too. Again, because especially father, especially people that's been on the podcast. That there's sometimes where I just feel like I didn't want to do it no more, like but we keep moving, we keep going, and like I said, this it's almost like what 6-7 years for this podcast, and yet I still this is probably the most consistent thing I've done, and I've and I still love doing it, and this is kind of the things that even if it doesn't get a million views, I would still do it, as you can see with 6-7 years on moving. So if any of your people have dreams, if any of your people have visions, you could be the one that could give them their push to start. And maybe, hopefully they can achieve the dreams that they want to. Like, I don't want to be the crab in the barrel. I want at least one. I always say this. I want one of us to make it out. I don't care if you do better than me. I want one of us to make it out. Just to say, hey, that's my man. That's my friend. I'm happy for you. Like, I will always be your biggest fan. I will always be your biggest supporter. Anybody who knows me, I will be your biggest fan. I will be your biggest supporter. I'll be the one rooting for you when no one else is rooting for you. I'm that dude in Waterboy saying, you can do it. And I hope that anybody else chasing their dreams have someone in their corners just as similar as that. And that's all I gotta say. Um, I would like to thank the panel, as always. Like I said, 12 years of Harlem Heat. We probably gonna play some games after this too. Um, but I would like to thank the panel for jumping on the podcast as usual. I would like to thank all y'all for listening to hear us talk our shit again. This is You Know What, Let Me Just Say podcast, and we're signing out. Peace.
Yeah. So what